Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Welcome to Ford in Vegas, a true crime podcast for the ages with two friends who hate each other. I'm Ford.
And I'm Joey Vegas.
And we hate each other.
Well, that's obvious. If anybody's ever listened to this podcast, they know that I do not like you.
Let's start it off the right way. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Show them. If you're listening on this to this show via podcast, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Leave a 5-star review. This show in podcast form is ad-free for just $3 a month on our Patreon, patreon.com/FV True Crime. FV True Crime is also where you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to buy a Ford in Vegas shirt, you can do so at shopfordinvegas.com. Always remember, premium soft tea.
And tomorrow starts a special 20% off for 72 hours. So it is the 21st. If you are listening to us on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, or 24th before noon Central Time, you can get 20% off by using the code Thank You. Customer appreciation sale just for our listeners.
This podcast is a part of the Darkcast Network, indie network of podcasts that are focused on the true crime genre.
It's the genre.
So if you like this show,
which you should,
you'll like Darkcast Network podcast of true crime shows.
I like Darkcast Network podcasts.
And lastly, you can watch this show every day, all day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. BlackjackTV.net. And I mentioned Patreon, and we have a comment from one of our Patreon members, Derek the Zinger. He left a comment a couple of weeks ago on the 10th, or 10 days, right? 10 days ago.
10 days.
He said, glad you guys are back. We were away for a month. He said, glad you guys are back. Congrats to Aaron Judge on his record season. Now hoping he keeps it going against Cleveland, which he kind of did. And now we're kind of hoping they keep it going against Houston, but it's not looking good. But patreon.com/FV True Crime to support the show and get the podcast ad-free for just $3 a month.
I mean, that's a steal. $3 a month. People spend more in a day on coffee.
There you go.
And you get an hour of entertainment.
Good way to put it there.
I know.
Vegas.
Just you gotta
your head's stupid, but you put that in a very smart way.
Well, listen here. Who's 1-0? The Bulls.
So we have a lot to, well, you know what? We don't have a lot to get into.
No, we don't.
How I formulate and put together this show, I looked it up. I was looking things up. I was searching, and I really couldn't find anything that was something that we hadn't discussed that was like, oh man, this will be good. This will be good. So what I've decided to do for this show today, tonight, right now, this week, is we're going to do a little updates. We're going to update you on the stories that we've covered over the last several months. Because I have updates going back to shows that stories that we cover on shows back in April.
Well, also,
and it's October.
You're throwing this at you because you had no idea I'm throwing this at you, but that's what I like to do to you. They did catch the serial killer in Northern California.
They did? When?
They did. Earlier this week.
Why did I miss that?
I don't know, but they
did.
You
want to know why I missed it? Because he didn't have a name. So when I was looking up my stuff for updates, I didn't have a name for that guy. So
I thought they did release his name.
I didn't even know who he was.
But they got him. They caught him.
They did catch him.
So there is a name somewhere.
What's his name?
I don't know. But they did catch him. So just so everybody knows, if you're in Northern California, the serial killer that was killing the men out there.
The homeless people.
Well, no, not all of them were homeless.
All right.
They're not all of them were homeless. Let's
not all of them were homeless.
No, but most of them were, but not all. He has been caught.
Good.
Or so they think. We'll see if he's the actual guy. But so far, no new murders have been committed.
So this show here tonight is going to be a show of updates. And when we were last here 2 weeks ago, we talked about the Kristin Smart case, which has been ongoing since 1996. Labor Day.
That's a long time.
Memorial Day.
It's a long time, Ford.
Memorial Day 1996.
What were you doing on Memorial Day 96?
Turning 13. That's what I was doing.
Sweet 13.
So Kristin Smart, she was a California Central Coast College student. She vanished from campus 26 years ago.
The CCC?
The father says a murder conviction hasn't ended the agonizingly long journey to the truth about his daughter. He said, quote, "Without Kristin, there's no joy or happiness in this verdict," end quote. Prosecutors contended there on Paul Flores' behalf. He was the man that they feel he raped and killed her.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecutors contended that Flores killed Smart, then 19, while trying to rape her in his dorm room at California Polytechnic State University, where they were first-year students. His attorney argued that prosecutors used an outlandish conspiracy theory and junk science to accuse him and his father, who was charged in concealing Smart's body to hide the crime. Flores is 45, could face 25 years to life in prison when he is sentenced on December 9th. His attorney, Robert Sanger, declined to comment on the verdict, which came on Tuesday. A day earlier, a separate jury acquitted Ruben Flores, who's 45, who was accused by prosecutors of burying Smart's body under the deck of his house in the nearby community of Arroyo Grande for years before later digging it up and moving it.
But he's not guilty.
Her body has never been found. Both verdicts were announced on Tuesday. After 26 years, with today's split verdict, we learned that our quest for justice for Kristin will continue, Smart's father said. This has been an agonizingly long journey with more downs than ups. However, he also thanked both juries for their diligence and said his faith in the justice system has been renewed. "Know that your spirit lives on in each and every one of us every day," he said of his daughter. "Not a single day goes by that you aren't missed, remembered, loved, and celebrated." If you don't remember, Smart was she disappeared from campus over Memorial Day weekend in 96. The father and son weren't arrested until last year, 2021. Their attorneys had suggested that someone else killed her, or even she may be still alive, although Smart was legally declared dead in 2002. So the search for her remains will continue, says San Luis Obispo County Sheriff Ian Parkinson. This case will not be over until Kristin is returned home, and we have committed to that from the beginning, he said. We don't take a breath. We don't put this aside. Paul Flores was seen with Smart on May 25th, 1996. The defense said Flores was seen helping Smart walk to her dorm after she became drunk at an off-campus party. Prosecutors suggested she may have even been drugged and that Flores took her to his own room where he killed her during an attempted rape. Paul Flores had long been considered a suspect in the killing. He had a black eye when investigators interviewed him in 96. He told them that he got it playing basketball with friends who denied his account, according to court records. He later changed his story to say that he bumped his head while working on his car. During Paul Flores' trial, the prosecution also told jurors that 4 cadaver dogs had alerted to the smell of death on his mattress, but Sanger called it junk science. Sanger's Paul's lawyer. He called it junk science and noted that there wasn't any forensic evidence of Smart having been in the room. This case was not prosecuted for all these years because there's no evidence, Sanger said during closing arguments. It's sad Kristin Smart disappeared. He probably said disingenuously. She may have gone out on her own, but who knows? Investigators conducted dozens of fruitless searches for Smart's body over the last 2 decades. In the past 2 years, they turned their attention to Ruben Flores' home. Behind lattice work beneath the deck of his large house on a dead-end street, archaeologists working for police in March of 2021 found a soil disturbance about the size of a casket and the presence of a human body. The blood was too degraded to extract a DNA sample. After Tuesday's verdict, Ruben Flores maintained that both he and his son are innocent. And he said he feels badly that Smart's family will never have a resolution, probably because he knows where the body is. He said that the case was about feelings and not about facts. We don't know what happened to their daughter, he told reporters. They've had searches and everything, he said. They come to my house and say she was buried here, and that's a surprise to me. He should have never been charged, says his attorney, Herod Messick. It would be nice if the community would actually honor the presumption of innocence. There is so much animosity towards this man and his family. The trial was held in Salinas, about 110 miles north of San Luis Obispo. A judge agreed to move it after the defense argued that it was unlikely that the Floreses would receive a fair trial with so much notoriety in a city of only 47,000 people. So Vegas, the dad is innocent, but the son, not so much.
Yeah, well, first of all, if you're ever going to lie to the cops and say how you got a black eye, a bruise, a cut, a scrape, do it where there's nobody else that can corroborate the story unless it's true. Obviously, if it's true, they're going to corroborate the story and it's true. But don't say, oh, yeah, I was playing basketball with my friends. And then they subpoena the friends and they're like, no.
Yeah, we didn't. That wasn't us.
Yeah, well, that's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
That's a red flag because why would you do that? And then you change your story to say, oh, I got it while working on my car. So first of all, you lied.
Now you look like a liar.
Yeah, well, you did lie because you told them it was friends. And then when they said, oh, that's not true, then you're like, oh, no, I was mistaken. I hit it. How do you, first of all, I've hit my head numerous times. Like I couldn't remember like the last time I hit my head and how. But if I was doing it.
Because of the concussion?
Probably.
Okay. That
could explain a lot of things. But like how I hate you so much. But really, if I'm going to hit my head and I'm doing a murder, you know, or if I hit my head like recently, I'm going to know how I got a black eye.
Yeah.
Like if you
when
push
have
me.
you ever hit?
I even hit my head and got a black eye.
When is anybody, I mean, like, what do you have to hit to give yourself a black eye? Like, I've never given myself a black eye. So if you've given yourself a black eye listening to the show or watching us on YouTube, please leave a comment. Let us know how you gave yourself a black eye because, you know, it's like the classic, you know, when the woman goes to work and she's got a black eye and she's like, oh, yeah, I fell and hit the doorknob. You know, I fell out of the shower. I hit, you know, every stair on the way down.
And that's code for my husband or boyfriend just beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. So I'd like to know because I've never, ever given myself a black eye. So I'd like to know how that's even possible. I think I think that Kristin Smart was obviously drunk, right?
Yep.
But you sober up real quick when you're getting raped.
Okay? I assume so, yes.
Just like you sober up real quick when something crazy happens and all of a sudden you're no longer drunk. You were drunk 3 minutes ago. You ain't drunk anymore. So I feel like Kristin, you know, getting raped and that drunken feeling is just gone. And now she's in self-defense mode. And she probably hit this idiot and gave him a black eye. And then he killed her.
I mean, I am curious, though. If she does turn up, she won't. But if she does, like, she's been legally declared dead. So the life insurance, if she had anything on there, everything's gone. So if she shows up and she's like, no, I'm alive, how does that work? Like you literally don't have a social security number anymore. You're literally dead in all intents and purposes.
Well, not literally, legally dead.
Legally, yeah. Well, okay.
She's not literally dead if she's back.
But I mean,
I understand.
You can't get anything.
I don't know what you can. I don't know.
Like you
just start anew.
Yeah, you just like, you know what? I'm going to be somebody else.
You get a new soch.
Yeah, I get a new soch, new personality.
I mean, I'm sure they could bring back your other social security number. I'm assuming you could get it back.
I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
But I mean, she's been legally dead for 20 years.
Oh, like I said, she's not coming back. Yeah. I was just curious. But I digress.
A month ago. Was it a month ago? We covered the Alex Murdaugh case. He's been sitting in jail now for more than a year. Well, we have an update. So he's been sitting in jail for more than a year. He's accused of shooting his wife, Maggie, and son, Paul. In a new court filing, Murdaugh's legal team claims that their client is innocent.
Yep, that's what I told you he was.
And points the finger at his cousin.
Oh, that's right.
Curtis Eddie Smith. In the motion, which was filed Friday, first obtained by the state attorneys Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin, claim that Smith was the one who committed the shootings at the 1770 acre estate in Islandton, South Kakalaki.
That's a big ass estate.
On June 7th. 2021. Smith decidedly failed a polygraph test when questioned if he murdered Maggie and Paul, the attorneys wrote. The reason Smith failed the polygraph when asked if he murdered Maggie and Paul is because he, in fact, did commit these heinous crimes, end quote. An attorney for Smith did not immediately return messages. Alex Murdaugh has pleaded not guilty to the two murder charges. He is facing trial in 2023. Murdaugh, who was once a prominent attorney in South Carolina, has been disbarred from practicing law. He faces more than 85 criminal charges in addition to the murder counts, many of which were uncovered after police began investigating the family after the murders. In August of 2021, Murdaugh allegedly tried to stage his own death so that his one surviving son, Buster Murdaugh, then 26, could benefit from a $10 million life insurance settlement. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Jeez.
According to prosecutors, Murdaugh had Smith, the same man he is now accused of killing his wife and son, shoot him on the side of the road. But the shooting was unsuccessful, and Murdaugh suffered only superficial wounds. Murdaugh was criminally charged in connection with the alleged botched suicide for hire plot, and is also awaiting trial in that case. Additionally, Murdaugh faces dozens of charges for alleged financial crimes, including misappropriating money from his law firm, defrauding clients of funds, and computer crimes. Authorities allege that he also defrauded the family of his former housekeeper out of a $4.5 million insurance settlement after she died in a mysterious slip and fall accident at his home, which I believe they're going to dig up her body and try to see if he had anything to do with that. Murdaugh has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges brought against him. He's completely an innocent man. How dare you?
100% innocent, this guy.
His lawyers have alleged that he suffers from an opioid addiction that caused him to live a double life. He remains in jail on a $7 million bond. So that's the latest on the Alex Murdaugh case. Vegas, you have been staunch. You have stuck by your belief, your opinion that he's an innocent man.
No. In the death of his housekeeper.
Oh,
not these other deaths.
Okay, you think he killed his wife?
Well, I don't know if he did.
You think he killed his wife, and you think he killed his son, but he didn't kill the housekeeper.
Well, yeah, I don't think he killed the housekeeper.
He just defrauded.
I don't think he necessarily killed his wife. I don't know this. I don't know the facts.
So he didn't kill the housekeeper. He just stole $4.5 million from her family.
Well, I mean, he paid it out and paid it to himself or something?
Well, whatever the case may be, he stole it. So you don't think he killed her?
No.
But he stole the money.
I mean, potentially, yes. But, I mean, the guy failed a polygraph that said, did you kill this person? And he said no, and he failed.
Yeah.
I understand they can't use that in court polygraphs are not admissible in court. I still don't know why. We have DNA tests where we can solve 800-year-old murders.
I think he's got a problem, though. He's got a problem because he has been involved with things that Alex Murdaugh has done. So we're not exactly talking about a stand-up guy here.
Well, because
failing a polygraph test.
Well, yeah, but he tried to shoot somebody, or he tried to shoot Murdaugh.
Yeah, because Murdaugh hired him to kill him.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean his family. Maybe.
So why would he kill the wife and the son?
I don't know. He failed the polygraph. We'll find out.
Oh, we're going to find out
next year when this trial finally happens.
We're going to cover this thing extensively.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. I don't think, I think that this guy's going to jail something. He's going to be guilty of something. He's got 100 and something charges.
Yeah, come on, you don't.
Where
there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, you did something. Whether you killed people or not, that's debatable. But you definitely, had some crimes committed, or you committed some crimes, financial or otherwise.
Look, I think if I'm a betting man,
which you are,
which I am, I'm betting this guy had a hand in everything he's being accused of. Honestly, I think he did kill his wife. I think he did kill his son. I think he did hire his cousin to try to do a suicide for hire plot. I think it did backfire. It's obvious it backfired. He had superficial wounds. He couldn't even kill him right. So Eddie Smith couldn't kill Alex, who wanted to be killed. He couldn't pull the trigger and kill him, but he could kill Alex's wife and son. Now, also remembering, in case anybody is unfamiliar with this case and listening to this for the first time, Alex Murdaugh goaded his wife to go to the house because they have been separated at the time. And she was uneasy about going, says witnesses. She did not want to go back to that house. But Alex insisted and insisted and insisted.
Well, choices have consequences.
So she went, and now she's dead. So where these people get off saying that the cousin killed her and the son, when the cousin couldn't even kill a guy who wanted to be killed, I would like to see how that scene played out. I wish there was a security camera around so we could see Alex Murdaugh stand there and try to get shot by somebody who wants to shoot him.
Well, he might have not, but it's his cousin. He might not have wanted to shoot his own cousin, his flesh and blood.
Think about how ridiculous this sounds.
Listen, you're trying.
If you're going to hire somebody, Vegas, to kill you, you should hire somebody who, I don't know, is good with a gun.
I agree.
Who has the balls to kill you. Yeah, I wouldn't want to shoot my own cousin either. Even my cousin was like, no, here, kill me. I'm like, nah, bro, I can't.
That's because you're a pussy.
Yeah. Could you shoot and kill your own cousin?
No.
Why? Because you're a pussy?
No, I mean, I probably could. A couple of my cousins, I probably could. And you, I definitely could.
Well, yeah.
If you came to me and said, shoot me, I'd shoot you.
But the fact is...
Actually, no, I wouldn't shoot you. I wouldn't kill you. I'd just shoot you so you suffered.
The fact is, Curtis Eddie Smith, that was his name.
Yeah.
Couldn't kill a man who wanted to be killed. Who got hired to kill him.
I don't know all the facts.
But now we're supposed to believe that he killed the wife and the son who didn't want to die. He was able to kill them, but he couldn't kill Alex Murdaugh. Come on.
Listen.
Get out of here.
Listen, all you need is reasonable doubt.
There is no reasonable doubt here. Alex Murdaugh had all the reasons in the world to kill his wife and son. Period. I don't even think he necessarily wanted to kill the son. Although, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember this case correctly, the son was like leaned in like a dog cage because the son was watching his buddy's dog or something like that. So Paul wasn't even expecting it. Alex, with no balls, shot him from behind. And not to mention, he had blood spatter on his shirt, on his clothes. So he was there, and he's there at the time that the bullets hit. So this dude
who had a crap load of money couldn't kill himself, couldn't finance somebody to kill himself. But you expect me to believe that he killed his wife and his son in the back?
Yes, because he has an opioid addiction.
Oh yeah, that's right. We all have opioid addictions. doesn't mean we're going to kill people.
So you're telling me that you think he didn't do this?
I don't know if he did it.
I should have never told you this cousin Eddie story, because now you're going to stick with that.
Well, but that's their defense.
We're going to monitor this thing.
The defense is he asked Cousin Eddie to do it, and he did it.
We're going to monitor this, obviously, when this trial comes. And the other one that we're going to monitor, we have a slight little update on this week. Vegas's favorite, Kaitlin Armstrong. She was in court yesterday in a pretrial hearing. Police said Kaitlin Armstrong, 34, in case you forgot, shot Mariah Wilson in May, left the country.
Allegedly.
She shot her in May and left the country because that's what guilty people do. And they found her in Costa Rica, if you remember, after 43 days. The hearing Wednesday was procedural and focused on the arrest warrant originally filed by Richard Spittler, the lead homicide detective on Wilson's murder case. There's still one more witness to cross-examine, which is scheduled for next Monday. Armstrong's defense team filed a Frank's motion, which is a legal proceeding when a court is asked to determine whether a police officer or detective lied in pursuing an arrest warrant. They allege that Spittler had reckless disregard for the truth when filing the arrest warrant that allowed police to arrest Armstrong. And then he intentionally left out crucial information in the document. The Rick Kofer, one of Armstrong's defense attorneys, asked while questioning Spittler, "Just be crystal clear, everything in the affidavit is true?" "Yes, sir," Spittler replied. For example, in the warrant, Spittler wrote Wilson and Colin Strickland, the cyclist Armstrong was living with at the time, were in a romantic relationship. Kofer spent several minutes questioning Spittler on whether relationship was an accurate term to describe what was going on between Strickland and Wilson, which is also legal speak for we don't have a lot to go on here. We are grasping at straws. So we're going to focus in on the word relationship. Kofer also alleged Spittler filled dates and times incorrectly, relied too much on information from anonymous callers, and he didn't corroborate reports from other APD staff working on the case. When state attorneys cross-examined Spittler, they said he was working off the information he had available and wrote the affidavit with care. Any errors Spittler made were not severe enough to qualify as reckless disregard for the truth. Also questioned was Katie Connor, an APD homicide detective who was the first APD officer to interview Armstrong about Wilson. APD arrested Armstrong because it had already had a warrant from a previous incident. Remember, she had a Botox session that she never paid for, which is not even close to all the other work that she got done while she was on the run because she's innocent, according to Vegas.
Until proven guilty.
Armstrong was arrested and brought into the APD station, that's the Austin Police Department station, for that charge. But Connor questioned Armstrong on her connection to Wilson and not about the theft of service charge. Just as Connor began to talk with Armstrong, an APD officer informed her the birth date on the warrant was incorrect and Armstrong was no longer under arrest. And then that's when she sold her Jeep to CarMax, because they'll buy your car even if you don't buy theirs. And then she fled the country. Armstrong's defense argued Connor detained Armstrong and didn't allow Armstrong to leave after the warrant didn't hold. State attorneys conversely asserted Connor was within her right as a detective to ask about Armstrong's connection to Wilson. Also, that Connor informed Armstrong that she was free to leave 5 times. The state attorney showed a video of the interview where Strickland was in the fetal position in the corner at one point when APD was questioning him about Wilson. Colin Strickland was a ball on the floor. He was told that he was the last man seen alive with Wilson, one of the state's attorneys said. Conversely, he said Armstrong had just been informed a woman from their community had been murdered, and she was as cool as the other side of the pillow, probably because she's the one who killed her. So there you go. We'll continue to monitor the Kaitlin Armstrong situation as well.
Yeah, I love that you just assume that these people are guilty.
I don't assume it. I'm judging it by their own actions.
We're presumed innocent until proven guilty.
But you don't help your case when you flee the country.
You do not.
Okay.
You don't.
So that's what I'm basing my opinion.
I mean, she could have been scared.
My opinion is Kaitlin Armstrong put a couple in Mo, bang, bang, and it was over. That's my belief. Because again, all of her actions after that.
We're glad you're not on the jury.
The selling of the Jeep, the fleeing of the country, these things, the cosmetic surgery, they just don't add up. They just don't add up to somebody who's just afraid. I don't know about you. I've been afraid. I've been afraid before. I never went and got cosmetic surgery, fled the country.
I have.
Yeah, you need to go get your money back for that cosmetic surgery.
Listen, I look good. I don't care what you say. And
the last update for one of the stories that we have talked about on this show, the court dates for the next court dates for the Lily Peters homicide. If you guys remember, she's the 10-year-old Wisconsin girl who was sexually assaulted and then murdered by her own cousin, who's 14 years old.
Trash.
Yeah. So for some reason, they have scheduled the next hearing for this case is scheduled for August 7th of 2023.
That's a long time.
Why? Why do these things take this long? This is ridiculous.
Because our court system is screwed up.
Online court records show 5 days of hearings scheduled for each morning of the week of August 7th at Chippewa County Circuit Court. The online records also show that there's a new judge assigned to the case. The defense asked for a new judge. It was granted. The suspect, he's 14 years old. He won't be 14 by the time this thing gets started. The suspect is facing charges of first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree sexual assault resulting in great bodily harm, and first-degree sexual assault of a child under the age of 13 in the death of 10-year-old Lily Peters. 2 of the 3 charges carry a maximum sentence of life. The suspect waived his right to a preliminary hearing on August 31st. Attorney Cohen planned to file a reverse waiver hearing in an attempt to move the case to juvenile court. He is still being held. The suspect is still being held at the Northwest Regional Juvenile Detention Center in Eau Claire.
Mm-hmm.
On a $1 million cash bond waiting his next court appearance. So there you go. We will also continue to monitor that story.
Well, you know, he's going to be rotting in juvenile detention center unless his family can come up with $100,000 cash.
Cashola, baby.
Yeah, no putting your house up.
So if you're new here to this show, thanks for listening. Wherever you may be listening or watching, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. But before we turn this show over to Vegas, because Vegas, we like to end the show with Vegas doing most of the talking.
The best part.
The best part of the show, we like to say for the end. It's called the quick hits. And we're going to go, we turn it over to Vegas. But before we do that, we like to end the true crime part of the podcast with an uplifting story. And what better stories are more uplifting than cold cases when they get solved? So in Vegas, that just reminded me before we get into that. No, we'll get into that and then I'll do the other thing that just popped in my head. Detectives working a Borrego Springs homicide case that went unsolved for nearly 3 decades have identified the alleged killer. Cold case investigators achieved the long-awaited breakthrough in the murder of 72-year-old Claire K. Holman via what, Vegas? How do you think they solved this cold case?
I'm probably assuming it's going to be DNA evidence.
Oh, genetic genealogy, which combines analysis of DNA evidence with the study of family trees, according to the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Holman was found strangled in her home in the 700 block of Tilting T Drive on March 21, 1994. After a lengthy investigation failed to conclusively identify a suspect, the case went cold. In 2003, the Sheriff's Crime Lab obtained a DNA profile from evidence recovered at the scene of the crime. It was entered into the Federal Combined DNA Index System database, but generated no matches. Squadoosh. In March of last year, the Sheriff's Homicide Cold Case team reviewed the Holman murder file for possible use of investigative genetic genealogy to identify the killer. 6 months ago, the team obtained an additional DNA sample extracted from a strand of hair recovered at the victim's home, according to sheriff's officials. The new evidence allowed detectives to develop an investigative lead that led them to the name Jerry Dwayne Robeson. He is a 51-year-old Borrego Springs resident at the time of the murder as a possible suspect in the case. Through investigative genetic genealogy, the cold case team last month was able to positively name Robeson, who died in 2007, as Holman's killer. The families of both Holman and Robeson have been informed of the determination. Imagine how that went.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, do you know Jerry Dwayne Robeson? Oh, yeah, that's my dad. Oh, yeah, he killed this woman in 94. Have a good day.
Yeah.
It was the 6th time that investigative teams have used genetic genealogy to solve a case, according to sheriff's officials. Of course, that's in San Diego.
Yeah.
Down there. But, yeah, can you imagine that call? Jerry Dwayne Robeson, your brother, your uncle, your grandpa, your dad. By the way, he killed this woman in 94. So think about that the next time you go to his gravesite and pay your respects. Imagine that.
He could have been a good dad. Lousy human being.
He's a lousy human being. Lousy.
I mean, probably not, but you never know.
That what? He was a lousy father?
Yeah. I mean, he might have been all right. I don't know.
Where crackhead criminals look their absolute best. For the laughs, for the culture. Vegas presents his Mugshot of the Week.
Oh boy, it's the Mugshot of the Week, your favorite time of the podcast. This guy, I picked this guy not because he looks like he's a drug addict, not because he looks crazy in his mugshot, other than his eyes are wide open and he's staring at the camera like he wants to kill somebody. But no, he wasn't charged with murder. This guy, his name is Christopher Pinson Fowler. That's right. He was born on June 12th, 1990. This guy, man, he's got a list. Okay. He's got 4 counts of drug possession. He's got 1 count of forgery, 1 count of fraud, and the kicker, he was on probation and he has a probation violation. Why? This guy is the epitome of dumb son of a beep. Because you
beeped yourself?
I beeped myself.
All right.
Yeah, because I didn't have time to hit the beep. But this guy, you're on probation for other things that you did. I don't know what those were. But you're on probation and you have 4 things of drugs. You're trying to forge something, I'm assuming a check. Because, I mean, a check or something, somebody's name. And fraud. You're doing that while you're on probation. Not the smartest guy in the room. So this guy, he wants to kill somebody. Mr. Christopher Pinson Fowler, you, sir, are the Mugshot of the Week and also the Dumbass of the Week.
Reverie. The state of being pleasantly lost in one's thoughts. A daydream. But what if those daydreams turn to nightmares? Reverie True Crime shines a light on the dark tragedies that have happened and are continuing to happen all throughout the world. We interview and work with families to bring awareness to forms of injustice. We explore the depths of cases from around the world to include missing persons, mysteries, and more. Reverie True Crime is found wherever you're listening to this podcast. Remember, you don't have to live in fear, but stay aware of your surroundings. Stay safe and take care.
Definitely stay safe. Look behind you. Somebody may be looking to kill you. But we're going to the good part of the show where we're trying to make you happy. A little laughing, little
The good part of the show?
The good part of the show.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, the uplifting part, the good part.
Oh.
Yeah.
You should say uplifting. Could you say good part?
Well,
you would insinuate that the first 35 minutes was bad.
Well, I'm assuming you're talking, so it's probably nothing really good comes out of your mouth. But happy birthday today to Snoop Dogg. Happy birthday, Snoop Dogg. He is 51. I bet you he's having a couple of blunts right now.
I would assume so.
He's probably higher than the freaking North Pole. So, also, this is funny, but it's probably true. 51% of us hate the way our teeth look. That's right. A new survey conducted by the teeth aligner name brand Bite revealed a few things about our teeth and going to the dentist. I hate the dentist. You love the dentist.
I love the way the things taste.
Yeah, that's weird. First, the survey did found that 70% of us hate going to the dentist. You're in the 30%. You're weird. With nearly half of us having dental anxiety. Again, you don't. In addition,
I get dental erections.
Yeah, you masturbate to the dentist, not the person, just the place. 51% of us hate the way our teeth look. We are most self-conscious about the color of our teeth, followed by how crooked they are.
Yeah,
I mean that's true.
I could see that.
I could see people hating that because a lot of when I was in the dating pool back in the day, a lot of women were like, "You got to have nice teeth."
Anyway, you're just in the escort pool now, right?
Yeah. I've given up on dating.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, just pay for sex. That's the way to go.
No, you pay them to leave. You don't pay for sex, you pay them to leave.
That's right. I pay them for OnlyFans. This is kind of weird, but this is true. The next time, Ford, when you're trying to steal something that's heavy, make sure that the truck holds it.
Okay.
In the UK, a metal thief broke into a warehouse and loaded several pallets of copper and other metals under his truck. He then attempted his getaway, but unfortunately he didn't make it too far because the suspension on his truck broke, causing the back of the truck to drag in the ground. He was creeping along, throwing sparks everywhere, which attracted the attention of the police. Yeah. When you're trying to steal something that's heavy, make sure your truck can handle it. It's probably like a really crappy truck, too. But this is
probably a Chevy.
Or a Ford. Data does show, though, around 34,000 non-smokers die every year in America from secondhand smoke.
Bastards.
Yeah. That's why they want smoke-free casinos in the world.
Yeah, my dad has COPD. The only thing he's ever smoked in his life was crack because he was always married to women who smoked cigarettes.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is what's most important in life. Smooth or hairy? That's the question.
How you like your women's legs?
No.
Men's facial hair.
No.
Yeah, men's faces.
Given the choice, women love smooth. Researchers asked women to compare the attractiveness of men before and after shaving their chest.
Their chest.
The majority of women loved a smooth chest.
Wow.
I have a hairy chest. You don't have hair anywhere.
That's a lie. I have a hairy chest.
Yeah, I know.
I have a hairy stomach.
Yeah, you got. I
got a hairy tramp stamp in the back.
Yeah, you have a tail.
Yeah.
Fucking weird. Wacky but true, though. The next time you see the cow.
Get on this podcast and spread lies.
Yeah.
You don't have any hair. Don't say those things.
Yeah.
Those are lies. Yeah. Nate's who used to be on this show, has no hair on his legs.
He has no hair anywhere.
Yeah, it's like scary how little hair he has on his body.
Yeah, without shaving. He's scary.
Yeah.
Now, in Cambodia, now this is Cambodia. It's kind of weird. But a cow, that's right. A cow, a bovine, was taken into police custody for causing traffic accidents. That's right. The cow's owner could face jail time under a traffic law that holds people responsible for accidents caused by their animals. The 5-foot-tall cow was standing in the middle of a main road when a motorcyclist crashed into the animal. My thing is, how fast was that motorcycle going that he didn't see a 800-pound cow in the middle of the fucking road?
And the cow's going to win every time.
Yeah, you're a dumbass. But maybe he died, so I kind of feel bad. But not really, because he's an idiot. Here's some good quotes to go on the side of a coffee mug. You drink coffee every day with a protein shake. The best way to be missed when you're gone is to stand for something when you're here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even fools...
It's very deep,
yeah,
Vegas.
Even fools seem smart when they are quiet.
But only fools rush in.
Mm-hmm. When you think of our work as a gift, it radically changes what we create. Yeah, so there you go. A little bit of niceness. And finally, this is something for you.
For me?
For you to guess.
For me.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
You were just called You were just cult. No, you were just caught pandiculating.
Pandiculating.
Yeah, actually, it's panculating. PANDICULATING.
What was I doing?
Yeah, what were you doing if you were pandiculating? Yep, it's not what you think.
Pantomiming.
No, you get one more guess because that was stupid.
Oh, I don't know.
You were caught stretching and yawning.
Oh.
So the next time somebody stretches and yawns, you say, "Oh, that's a nice pandiculating movement," and they're going to say, "What'd you call me?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're going to sound smart when you know what pandiculating means.
If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like the video. Show them, Vegas. Also, if you're on the go, you can subscribe to this show as a podcast wherever you get your podcast. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you want to watch this show, you can do so. Just go to FordandVegas.com. This show in podcast form is ad-free for just $3 a month. That's right, just $3 a month, which goes to supporting the show or supporting the show.
Supporting.
Patreon.com/FV True Crime. FV True Crime is the same place where you can find us on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to buy a Ford and Vegas shirt to show everyone else how much you love us, you can do so at shopfordandvegas.com. There is a sale going on right now for the next 72 hours. You get 20% off. So head over to shopfordandvegas.com and always remember premium soft t-shirts. They are the highest quality. We are a proud member of the Darkcast Network, your home for indie true crime podcasts just like this one. And also, you can watch this show 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on blackjacktv.net. That's blackjacktv.net. For Vegas, I'm Ford. This has been Ford in Vegas, a true crime podcast for the ages with two friends who hate each other. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.